Hey guys, Gil here. I want to make a video real quick, um, talking about the next week. So right now it's February 16th, and Tarzan releases along with Gruel Mag on Thursday. Right now it's Monday, which means there's gonna be a massive increase on raid consumes and just raid mentality in general. So I think that this is kind of like the beginning of TBC auction consumes, I guess. So things like haste potion, destruction potion, flasks, any kind of elixir that's DPS. Like right now, they've been around and people have been farming them, but for the most part, I think people only buy consumes like when they need them. So you don't really need them for heroics. Obviously they help, but nobody's like going to buy flasks of Relentless Assault or Binding Light or Distilled Wisdom or Supreme Power, whatever, for heroics. But with Karazhan coming out, even with it being easy, I think that people will still consume just as much as they normally do because classic players like to parse. And the parse meta brings in the consume meta, which allows us to make money off of them. So how I'm preparing for it, I'll show in a little bit. But like if I was, again, I like to show you guys like the train of thought that I have, which I think is more useful than telling you like a specific item to invest in. So the thing about flasks is they persist through death. So they're not consumed as much. Generally, flasks are more expensive, but as a bulk seller, you'll make more money not selling flasks because of this kind of like problem with them that they persist through death. So if somebody's going to raid for 3 hours, they're going to use 2 flasks. If they're going to raid 3 hours and wipe a bunch, they'll use a shitload of elixirs or potions because they'll use like 1 potion every time there's every time it's available, like an execute phase or at the beginning for threat, so on and so forth. And then now I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think Bloodlust resets every pull. So it should be like a lot more people potting for parsing because they'll be able to parse every pull because you'll be able to bloodlust every pull. So things like Flask of Pure Death is good money because it's for shadow damage, which is warlocks. Relentless Assault is any melee. No one uses Mighty Restoration. No one uses Fortification, and then prop paladins that are doing threat will use Blinding Light. Otherwise, it's just the Arcane Mages and the Boomkins. Nobody uses Chromatic Wonder right now. And then elixirs, it's pretty much healing power, to my knowledge. It's like healing power, which is right here. This is what like Resto Druids use, or I think Resto Shamans probably use this. Because I think it's only Holy Paladin is the healer that uses Distilled Wisdom because they get spell power or healing power out of intellect. And then pretty much everyone else uses like healing power and Major Mage Blood or something like that. Or maybe Drainic Wisdom and just Guardian. Yeah, like Drainic Wisdom and healing power, which I think counts as a battle. So something along those lines. And then you have, of course, your mana potions. So like super mana, they're 189 right now. I think this goes up. I think this continues to go up for a little bit because people are going to be mana potting a lot. Maybe not on bosses, but like to keep up with just like killing stuff. And then yeah, I think that's like most of the alchemy stuff. But this week presents like a rare opportunity where we have like some changes with Terracone, some changes with a bajillion layers and a mega server with tons of people. Um, I think that consumes could go through the roof temporarily. So I think it would be prudent. Like if I were gonna be raiding, I would at least buy my consumes like as soon as I watch this video, which by the way, subscribe if you like the content. Um, but I think come Thursday, consumes are gonna skyrocket, and then they'll stay higher because there's just you actually have a demand signal for stuff. Right now, there's no demand for any of this stuff, whether it's flasks or even like there's kind of a demand for super mana, but like there's not a demand for elixirs really. Um, Same thing with gems. Like I am a jewel crafter, and living rubies are still like 80, 83 gold or something like that, which is kind of crazy. Like right now they're 90. I think that these almost double. I think these go up to like 140, 150 because right now they're like people have to do heroics, um, and those are hard to get gear that needs gem slots, or they have to get lucky with the drop for a drop that needs gem slots. But Karazhan, most of the gear is like modernized. So if I go through here, like almost every one of these has gem slots, you know? So I think that not only is it more readily accessible, like, uh, that people will need the gem, like they'll get gear that needs gem slots, but Karazhan is easier than heroics. So like if I had like 3 hours or 6 hours to play in a week, I would do a Karazhan, and I would get probably like 3 to 4 pieces because it's 10 men content. There's like 10 bosses or how many there is, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11. 11 bosses with Nightbane. So that's 11 bosses in 3 hours, that drop probably 2 pieces. Like this is on average, most people aren't getting this many purples, in an average night, or even in an average week. Like I think this is just going to cause massive demand spikes for gems, um, which is not quite seen yet. Not to mention all the tier tokens that are going to drop, which need gems. I guess gloves don't need gems, but let's see here. Because in one night they're gonna do, or maybe 2 nights they're gonna do Kara, and they're gonna do Gruul and Mag Therodon. Like all of these need gems. If you look at as I mouse over this stuff, like most of the stuff needs gems. So I think that there's about to be like a reckoning of people that are prepared and the people that are not. How I'm preparing is a little bit different than most. Like I have some gold here. I've been flipping. I actually just ended up buying a Vengeance Trap for 500 gold. I gave it to a tailor in our guild, who had nethers, and then I took all of my Shadowcloth cooldowns that I had, and some Primal Air, and got that made, which is about 2,500 gold. But then I've been investing a lot of my money into Terracone and scrolls. I still have my scrolls of 4. I think these jump because again the parse lords are going to start consuming these. So it's all about 2 things: how much supply is there, which is like it's like a stockpile. When you think about like with a country when they have like oil reserves and then they start fighting a war, how long do their oil reserves last? So like Aquamarine, it's still 43 silver. I guarantee you when Wrath releases, this is going to be well over 2 or 3 gold. But for right now, I think so many people were stockpiling aquamarines that they've 4x'd. Like I bought these a year ago at 13, 12 silver. They vendor for 10. I think these continue to go up like a lot. And or dark runes. Like dark runes, paladins can farm Scholomance, but it's not as easy as it once was. So I think that these stay high. You know, like I bought these at 7 gold. And I'll continue to kind of trickle them off. But like Terracone, I think it's very, like you can see the min buyout right there is 150. It's very likely that Terracone goes to 3 gold because there's no demand right now. The only demand are people that are investing in the item or people that are leveling alchemy. And that's pretty much it. Like no one's using Terracone. No, I think the major consumers of Terracone is like Drainic Wisdom and Relentless Assault. So no one's using Terracone. It should go up as people start using it in raids. Same thing with these large prismatic shards that I have. You know, like these items, people are farming them like mad right now because they're all doing these normal dungeons and you know, like the 68 dungeons, everything DEs into large prismatics. We're doing quests, like there's all kinds of shards out there. But come like 3 or 4 months from now, when no one's doing dungeons, no one's doing like heroics really, like badges of justice will be super common because you can just do a Karzon and get like 20 badges or whatever it is. So I think that these will skyrocket to like maybe even 3 times, 4 times is what I'm expecting, like 25 gold at least. So I'm sitting on a bunch of them. You know, I think it's much more likely that these quadruple and go to 30 gold than it is for like a living ruby, which I don't think I have happening on me right now, to go to like 160 even. And then same thing with these scrolls. Like I think it's much more likely that like I bought these scrolls at 270, they're at 370 now. I think it's much more likely that these go to 15 gold than for I don't know, like this haste potion recipe to go to 1,000. I don't think this will go to 1,000. I just don't. So right now, all of my investments are focused on capitalizing on this like no demand spike. The only people buying these raid consumes or these raid parse items are people that are investors like myself and hopefully you. And I think like come, I don't know, like 5 months from now, Terracone's going to be 6 gold. And if it's 6 gold, I just made 4 times my money. To put it in perspective, like if you had your epic mount, which I always say is a foolish buy right now, if I had 5,000 gold, which I do, I'm not going to buy an epic mount. I'm going to buy 5,000 gold of Terracone or 5,000 gold of enchanting mats, and I'm going to hold on to it for a couple months. And that 5,000 gold is going to become 20,000 gold or 25,000 gold. I think. I can't guarantee, you know, I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but it just makes sense with supply and demand. So, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think it's prudent to kind of think about what your finances are going into Kara. If you're not a mogul, you know, like I'm trying to be, I think you should at least buy like a week or 2 of consumes because they're probably about to go up. And I think anything raid related is about to skyrocket because there's been 0 demand so far, and we're about to get a demand signal as the raids come out. And players, I think, are going to clear the content. You know, it's not going to be like a normal, because it's post nerf. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people like go to do Karzon and then can't and then quit. I think there is a quit wave coming, probably with boredom, like in maybe a month. But right now, TBC has a lot of hype. If you look at like streamers and whatnot, like you have people like the normals, Peekaboo, Zaryu, Ompy, Guide MMO, Hammer Dance, all these guys playing. But you also have people like Shroud and Tim the Tatman talking about it, or um, you know, other streamers that are in it, which means there's some hype around it. I don't care about any of these streamers, but there's hype around the game. When hype dies down, the market goes crazy because you have all these people, you have such a lack of supply. Um, which makes layers go down and the bots can't farm as many layers. You know, I've talked about this before. But I think now is the time to buy, not the time to like buy investments. Even if you think it's expensive now, as long as you're not buying like anything that has to do with pre-raid bis, like spell, any of the cloths, spell cloth, shadow cloth, primal moon cloth, I would stay away from. Like those are probably going to go down because there's a massive demand spike right now. There's also supply. But you know, like primal mites, same thing. They'll probably go down from here. Any kind of profession thing like Felor or Fel Iron ore or Adamantite ore, all that shit is gonna go down, I think, from here. Or it'll stay steady and then go down because it's got a pretty consistent market. Like I did show this and then I'll sign off here. But I did a couple of Adamantite shuffles today. And yeah, like I did. Let me see if I can control Z this. No. I did a couple of these shuffles today and it was like pretty steady. Like you can see here, I input all the prices here. I didn't do like how much I had, like I got from prospecting, but the predicted price. So this basically says like this is how much I spent on adamantite ore. I bought it at 2.2 this morning, 2 gold, 20 silver. And with the predicted things, which when I did prospect it, it was very close to all these. It was predicted to be like 1,700. It's, you know, it's 300 gold. That's not bad. But and that's all uncut. This price has gone up to like 2.35 right now. Let's see what it is. Which is consistent with market average. So it's an efficient market. You know, we're proving that stuff works as intended. And I just think that, you know, there's not a lot of like gold making opportunities compared to compared to like the raid consumes are about to happen. Okay, so 264, even better. So you can see like what this was earlier was 1751, 2.64. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, look at how perfect that is. So I'll just do a spot check here. So basically what this is saying, if I bought 660 ore, it would cost me 1742 gold. And it should net me, based on the prices of this morning, 17,000 or 1,715. So let's go ahead and spot check this. If I look up like living ruby. Okay, 92 gold. So we'll make this 92. Let's do a couple of these real quick. Dawnstone exact. Oop. And I would make a TSM group for this, and I did actually, but it's so slow. Okay, Dawnstone is 65. You'll notice the trend here is that everything is really fucking expensive. Oops. Dawnstone is 65. What about Noble Topaz? 73 gold. Damn. I mean, we can already see off the rip here. If stuff sells for what it's being posted at, which it is, and if you watch the market, stuff is way cheaper during the morning and much more expensive when people get on. Wait till Thursday. Living rubies are going to go up to like fucking 150 gold. I would wager. Just nobody's using them right now, especially maybe even it's Friday because, or maybe like Thursday night. I think that prices are about to skyrocket for raid consumes and raid gear and raid enchants and all that other stuff. Which reminds me, the other one is fell armament, because most people are Aldor. You can see I bought 434 on this character for roughly an average of 14 gold, and I've sold them for 16.5 gold. That's because I bought a bunch at the beginning. That's 800 gold profit of flipping. I think that these are gonna short term go up, especially this week, because people are gonna be like, okay, it's week 1, I need to parse, I need to buy all these fell armaments to get Aldor rep so I can get my shoulder enchant, blah 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 blah. Anyways, I could keep going on with examples. I'm gonna end it here. You know, I think there's a lot of money to be made this week, and I hope you guys the best in doing so. Thanks, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.